You tell me to keep breathing, that your love is guiding my way. Why does my little ego want to say, don't take my pain away from me. Don't leave me here without my misery. 'Cause if I let go, then what might I do? This waking up is hard to do. Remember when I loved to fight, got so much pleasure just from being right. Now pointing fingers just makes me blue. This waking up is hard to do. They say that waking up is hard to do. So many lifetimes of sleeping through. Don't say maybe I could. Instead of waking up, I think I'll hang on to my victimhood. My guru says only love is real. My therapist tells me to feel, feel, feel. Seems every year there's more issues. This waking up is hard to do. They say that waking up is hard to do. It's hard enough to turn off the tube. Don't say maybe I can. Instead of waking up, I think I'll stay in couch potato land. My challenges, they're here to make me wiser. They'll help me grow just like some fertilizer. Wish I could grow without doo-doo. This waking up is hard to do. If Dr. Seuss was on the loose and speaking at New Thought churches, I bet we'd find his talks would rhyme a lot like the following verses. Ask and it's given, it says in the Bible. But if you're like me, then you're really quite liable to ask in a way that is more like complaining. Not like, let there be sun. More like, make it stop raining. And if you are focused on what you don't want, the universe has no choice but to respond by delivering more of what you're focused on. It can drive you to web surf at hopeless.com. Then along comes a church, a teacher, a song that helps you to get you've been asking all wrong. Let's say you want money, more love, or a smartphone. The way to get more is to get in the God zone. The God zone is where you're receptive and calm. It's where you're tuned in, tapped in, and turned on. You get in the zone through prayer and meditation and open your eyes and share good vibrations. Then manifestations, watch how they come. Like potato chips, you can't have just one. Yes. So let's get relief from beliefs that are making you paddle upstream till your muscles are aching, paddling madly in your quest for more ease. It's a clear classic case of mad paddler's disease. Let go of the oars, you hear somebody say. By the sweat of thy brow causes endless ivey. The current, it moves towards your wildest dreams, and nothing you want is awaiting upstream. Let's say you have nest eggs you'd love to be hatched. Your job's to become a vibrational match, to know in your heart that you fully deserve it, that the whole universe is just itching to serve it, to trust what you're drawn to is drawn to you too. Just as sure as God bless you comes after you. Now, some find this all too materialistic, too Pollyanna, not realistic. They may call you selfish as you're getting bolder, but selfish is in the eyes of the beholder. Just thank them for sharing, wish them the best, and keep on being selfish with a higher self S. Not a selfish that's driven by greed or by fear, but a selfish that's elfish and perfectly clear that a great way to help people out of their cages is to know that you're one with a God who's outrageous. Your natural high will be highly contagious. Serve the earth by example. It's most advantageous. Hanging out in the God zone, you like it a lot there. But don't get hung up on the way that you got there. Whether Ernest Holmes, Jesus, or a Buddhist retreat, all paths lead us up to the same mountain peak. And the top of the mountain does not really care which teacher or method helped you get up there. And when you're on top, it's fun to slide down, to bring your good cheer to the folks on the ground. Not that you'll be on a serious mission. The world's had enough missionary positions. Your mission's to feel great, and that is enough, because nothing's more important than feeling God's love. That's how you give the whole world a big hug. Nothing's more important than feeling God's love. You don't have to push, you don't have to shove. Nothing's more important than feeling God's love. And yesterday, those of us who were at the Coptic conference, we had a closing speaker. I don't need to mention names or whatever, but there was a mixture of fear and wisdom, and we all had to sort of put on our discernment shields and filter the messages that were coming through. And, you know, it occurs to me that with fear, it's black or white. It's not like there's a mixture. In other words, either there's nothing to be afraid because we're spirit and all is well all of the time, or there's some things to be afraid of, and then we need fear to keep us safe. But there's no middle ground. Emmanuel, one of my favorite teachers and authors, spirit guide Emmanuel, says, fear says, I'll keep you safe, listen to me. And love says, you are already safe. Two different voices offering two different strategies, two different plans, two different worlds that don't have a middle ground. It is black or white when it comes to fear or love. And this is a poem, I wrote this in 2012, about letting go of fear. Gather, my friends, because the end times are here. Not the end of the world, but the end of your fear. So turn down the lights, make it dark now, I dare ya. Stick around for a while and I'm gonna unscare ya. Now, when you were young and most things were quite swell, fear knocked on your door with a product to sell. And like most good salesmen, he cast quite a spell while selling insurance called All Is Not Well. Now, All Is Not Well came in its own case. The case that there's danger all over the place. And after you bought it, your all is not well, you felt it your duty to share and to tell. And so mouth to mouth was how fear procreated with no YouTube or Facebook to disseminate it. Fear soon went viral all over the globe, using old-time religion to dispense and promote. Because fear knew the way to get globally big was to drive a false wedge between God and her kids. And that's how he came to be so domineering, by replacing God-loving with, you must be God-fearing. Then fear and religion began co-creating and cooked up a symbol of fear they called Satan. As if infinite love had a worthy opponent with pitchfork in hand who could pounce any moment. The concept was great for maintaining control, making people behave as if they're on parole. Because when God-fearing people are scared for their souls, they put much more silver and gold in the bowls. So business was booming and fear kept on spreading, and fear loved the credit the devil was getting. Because fear itself likes to stay hidden from view and play hide and seek in its host, which is you. I'm not afraid, I'm just angry, it shouts. I've been mistreated and need to speak out. Well, I'm not afraid, I'm upset and I'm caring. There's so many disguises that fear enjoys wearing. He's proud of his wardrobe because he designed it. He wouldn't admit it, but fear's quite clothes-minded. So he doesn't realize that he's often dressed funny, wearing layers of worry, looking like a stress bunny. And when you're not looking, he dresses you too, in stress bunny outfits that don't become you. Because when you wear worry, it wears tight and stiff, from statically clinging to imagined what-ifs. Worst case scenarios fill your projector. Then fear says, don't worry, I'll be your protector. He shows you his life insurance policy and says, here's what you get when you sign up with me. You get top-notch, around-the-clock security, an armored alarm system on your body. And if you're harassed, I'm your personal bouncer, and for making decisions, I'll be your guidance counselor. No more will I let you take risks that could hurt you. Just stick with me, kid. I will never desert you. Now, all of your loved ones have already signed. Don't be a black sheep. Join the flock. You'll be fine. So, you signed up and breathed a big sigh of relief because you thought you'd feel safer with fear as your chief. But the contract had fine print, too fine to be seen, and you didn't read the clause that denied you your dreams. From then on, heart's desires that came to be birthed were blocked by your fears before they could reach earth. It seemed your new policy's whole life protection was more birth controlling than most contraception. How could you conceive of a life more abundant with fear in your ear like a cable news pundit who's yelling, I'm telling the truth, fair and balanced, while drowning out most of your love, gifts, and talents? Now fear says, get real. That's his bottom line thing. And fear learned what's real from his friend Stephen King. Whose collection of books make outstanding addictions as long as you realize you are reading fiction. Which is what you can do with your own fear collection. Just transfer them all to your mind's fiction section. Because no matter how gripping a tale fear can tell, its original premise that all is not well is a bit topsy-turvy in this universe and deserves to be laughed off the face of the earth. And while you are laughing, you let in the light, which makes fear pack his bags and get on the next flight. Because he needs to feel needed. And when you choose joy, well, then fear has no choice but to be unemployed. He used to feel needed when lions were chasing you, gathering speed with intentions of tasting you. But nowadays, the lions we find are fictional cats roaming round in our minds. And when you stop feeding the cats in your head, they just go away because they're not getting fed. And with a clear head, you are free now to choose a channel that's broadcasting much better news. So you get off your couch, you turn off the TV, you tune into WLOVE. It's got no commercials and nothing to sell, just a steady reminder that all is quite well. And all is quite well is insurance enough. You're already covered by a plan you can trust. You got Universal, the original plan. And there's never a moment that you're not in good hands. You're no longer buying fear's insurance scam. Because you know every moment you're in good hands. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, do you, twinkle, twinkle, little star, do you know how great you are? Have you been pretending not to know? Fear has been a friend and guide, telling you you must hide, but now your heart is heeding a new call. And the sky is not the limit if the stars are your desire. Put your whole self in it as you step out on the path of fire. Say yes to your dreams. 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 Say yes. In your heart God placed a seed, and everything you truly need is given you to grow your vision higher. And the only thing that burns we find are the bridges that we leave behind as we step out on the path and walk the fire. Whoa, whoa, God has dreams for you. God sees all that you can be. And if God believes in you, who are you to disagree? Say yes to your dreams. Sing that with me. Say yes to your dreams. Say yes to your dreams. Say yes to your dreams. Say yes. One of the most fascinating moments in people's lives is when we start to realize we have the right to say no to our nightmares, whether it be a job that you're suffering in or a relationship that you're constantly working on in the name of growth. And there comes a time where we trust the universe and ourselves enough to follow the path of least resistance, where struggle is just not necessary anymore. And this is a poem, my newest one, that lays out the pathway for the relinquishment of struggle. Get in your pajamas. Let's gather and snuggle. And I'll tell you a story, the story of struggle. It begins at a time before struggle began, in a garden called Easy, where all things were grand. The people who tended the garden had fun. They prospered and played and got lots of things done. One day, two plain folks, call them Adam and Eve, went under the covers with shame and some leaves. And then came the blame game, the who cut the cheese. Was it Eve or a snake or the wrong choice of trees? The day-to-day play, all the joy they were given, gave way to the sense, we must work for a living. And God did reply, kids, you gotta be kidding. Everything you could want is right here, not forbidden. But they would not, they could not receive the good news. They thought that to play, they must first pay their dues. By the sweat of thy brow, we must now earn our bread. And they didn't know the gluten had gone to their heads. Then they passed this confusion right on to their kids, hiding their loins with more leaves from more figs, teaching their offspring original sin, who then passed it off to their nextest of kin. And they made their cause noble, they justified pain. To suffer's God's will. No pain means no gain. And if you have struggled through life unabated, when you croak, your rewards card will be activated. That's when you cash in all your hard sacrifices and rest up in heaven with the rest of the righteous. And so human beings, they assumed the position of forgetting God's love didn't come with conditions. They dreamed up a God with a list of demands, with rules and with judgments and a whip in his hands. And over the seas came the pure Puritans to spread the work ethic all over the land. The pleasures of life must not ever be trusted. If you dare enjoy sex, you're eternally busted. God sits on a cloud with his one only son, and they both wear a frown if you have too much fun. But if you can grab a bull right by its horns, well, then God is pleased and might send less shitstorms. And then on your tombstone, your tribute might say, she worked hard for the money and toiled each day. He played by the rules, never did make a scene. And here lies his body, along with his dreams. Most folks are not dead yet, just taking a snooze, asleep at the wheel, driven by their to-dos. The average adult has a list that won't stop, and to be who you are is just not near the top. But when your to-bes become priorities, you can fly through to-dos with the greatest of ease. But when your to-dos make to-bes disappear, you get caught into doo-doos right up to your ears. So, what in the world is this thing, struggling? Allow me to define it, this world-famous thing. It's trying and trying and trying so hard with your own ego strength that's no match for God's. You're doing your best, and it's very courageous, but I'll do it myself is not self-advantageous. Yet when you join hands with the powers that be, then your source takes the lead, and she leads you for free. So struggling's simply a well-worn belief, and beliefs can be bygones, replaced and released. See, what's a belief but a thought you've been thinking so long and so hard that it's doing some stinking? And when you can smell your own moldy beliefs, you break out of the mold and you get some relief. By now are you thinking, enough is enough. There's life beyond struggle, I must trust. Then woo-hoo, you're ready to drop that belief and reclaim what's under your ancient fig leaf. Because under your cover, there's nothing to hide. That slippery serpent's been speaking some jive. We don't work for a living, we're already alive. We're not here for surviving, we be here to thrive. We're not human doings, we're beings born to fly. So get out your cell phone and send out a text to your family and friends, all your loved nervous wrecks, and tell them their nerves need no longer be taxed. They can travel downstream and be much more relaxed. And if they say, hey, that just makes me afraid, 'cause lazy don't pay me, there's bills to be paid. Let them see easy does it is working for you, that your life has your back and your trust sees you through. And if they say, no way, Jose, that's just fine. Not everyone's hip to the trip, they're divine. But everyone gets there in their own sweet time, and you help them the most when you're staying aligned. I'm staying aligned, staying aligned. Staying aligned. And so when your isness becomes your main business, you feel just like Santa the eve before Christmas. You have so much to give and so much to receive, and it happens as simply as breath when you breathe. The breath breathes itself with no push and no shove, and so goes your life when you know that you're loved. And if you work hard and do work up a sweat, it's only because you so love getting wet. Because when you're inspired to follow your bliss, even when you perspire, it feels effortless. Like the work that you're doing is being done through you. And you are thrilled to be letting the universe do you. Oh, God. Oh, God. Somebody had to say it. Please email this poem. Please email this poem, although some might delete it, and post it on Facebook and on Twitter. Tweet it. Because millions are ready to hear the good news that struggle's a choice that you don't have to choose. and struggle-free living. Oh my, how we love it. We flow down the stream on the boat. Easy does it. And easy does do it, we find out at last. We don't stop at the tolls, we just use Easy Pass. We're taking it light in the slow lane or fast, because the joke's been on us and we finally can laugh. Now, I have one final message and then I will go. You can't give up struggle completely, you know. There are rites of passages, powerful rites, when struggle's a part of you birthing more life. Try reading this poem to a woman in labor. She'd say, out of my face and don't do me no favors. Our struggles are sometimes endearingly human. They spice up our life like fresh garlic or cumin. So next time you struggle, please don't self-attack. Don't struggle with struggle. Let's cut you some slack. Because when you are kind to yourself in your struggles, the kindness alone brings relief on the double. And so to wrap up now, because I'm feeling spent, let's sacrifice struggle this Easter for Lent. Or just do it now. Why procrastinate? Why procrastinate when the garden of ease is your natural state? It's been waiting with patience, and it's well worth the wait. The garden of ease is our natural state. It's everyone's birthright and everyone's fate. The garden of ease is our natural state. Let's wrap it up with a song. By the way, if anybody wants one, two, or all three of those poems, the words are in my computer. Not in a book yet, not on a CD, but if you do, take my card and email me and request, I will email them to you. My preference is that you buy one of my CDs just to support the ministry, and then you'll get any poem you want. All right, so we're going to close it with, when I think about how do we learn ease? We need teachers who are, really, who have embodied ease. And my parents were not teachers of ease. But Mr. Rogers was. And I used to tune in and have darshan with him every day. And I wrote this song to honor him, and it was so interesting because I found out later that the day I wrote this song was the day he made his transition. So I believe he was passing through and said, here's a piece of my spirit. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. My spirit is soaring free. We've taken the weight of the world off our shoulders. I found a lighter me. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. There are no locks on the doors. People come out to play every day, and we know what life is for. We laugh at the notion that love is rare. We laugh at the notion of fear. We come to each moment with cupboards bare and open our hearts to the heaven that's here. We open our hearts to the heaven that's here. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, in my body community. My organs and cells get along with each other, a happy biology. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, so we're having a block party. God has decreed there'll be joy in the street, so we sacrifice self-misery. We laugh at the notion that love is rare. We laugh at the notion of fear. We come to each moment with cupboards bare and open our hearts to the heaven that's here. We laugh at the notion that love is rare. We laugh at the notion of fear. We come to each moment with cupboards bare and open our hearts to the heaven that's here. We open our hearts to the heaven that's here. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Our spirit is soaring free, taking the weight of the world off our shoulders, found our harmony. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Mr. Rogers is singing along. Who would have known that this journey home would lead my heart back to his song? Who would have known our journey home would lead us all back to his song? A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Say yes to your dreams. Say